It certainly is. We should move on now to other things, and we could look at Chelsea's 13.5 million gamble on a new manager. Andreas Villas-Boas was expectedly named as the new manager, although he wasn't first choice. Do you think that'll affect him?
No, I don't think it'll affect him at all, Paul, to be honest. You know, you look at his record at Porto, he's had a fantastic season, he's won a European title there. You know, people say he wasn't the favourite, you know, Gus Hiddink was the favourite. Gus has been there before, been there, done it, won the FA Cup with Chelsea. So, you know, is that going to play in his mind? I don't think it is, you know, I think he's probably one of the better managers in the whole of Europe right now, so I think it's probably a good appointment for Chelsea.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think it's good to see a young manager come through and have that impact in his first season or two. Because, I mean, he was at a smaller Portuguese club before he went to Porto, and it was amazing what he did last season. Obviously, we all know that. But do you reckon it's a lot of expectation, though, to place on such a young man's shoulders, especially at a club like Chelsea when you've got the board undermining it every single turn? Because, I mean, Abramovich probably buys some of the players. I think that's blatantly obvious. We know that.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, a lot of expectation to put on him, you know, but, you know, you look at David Moyes, the example there, you know, he was a young manager when he took over at Everton, relatively inexperienced, certainly in the top division anyway, and he's turned Everton around from perennial relegation candidates to perennial European challengers. So, you know, we've seen that it can be done, so, you know, I'd expect big things from him.
I think he hopes so for Chelsea's perspective, but you look at the people in the squad like Drogba, John Terry. I mean, John Terry especially is, well, reports are led to believe he's like the kind of like ringleader, so to speak. He's the one who actually controls everything at Chelsea. I mean, you've got, like as I said before, an owner in Roman Abramovich, who obviously has got all the money that the world desires, and he can do whatever he wants. He can go out and buy players on his own accord. So I think obviously he's 33-year-old. He's going to be the same age as some of the players. So I think he does need to actually go in there and be ruthless and say, I'm the boss, I'm in charge.
Well, absolutely, yeah. You know, I mean, he's the manager. He's got to go in there and stamp his authority on the team. And, well, it depends what kind of manager Abramovich wants. You know, if he wants a manager that's going to go in and win Chelsea the league and win them the European Cup, then he's got to back his manager. You know, and if that manager's going to go in and stamp his authority on the team, tell them who's boss, tell them how he wants them to play, then they're going to be successful. So, you know, like you say, it's got to stem from the top.
That's true. I mean, obviously, comparisons have ultimately been made between him and Jose Mourinho. I mean, I don't think they're the same sort of manager. I think Villas-Boas, I mean, obviously he's only a young manager, but I think he's more methodical in his plans. I mean, both of them have learned from Sir Bobby Robson. I mean, what better tutor than that?
Well, absolutely, you know, the great Bobby Robson. You know, people make comparisons, you know, they're similar sort of styles. I think Mourinho was a little more swagger and a bit of arrogance about him, where I think, like you say, you know, Villas-Boas is a bit more methodical in his approach. And I think, you know, there'll be comparisons made, but there's certainly enough differences there.
I could just remember Villas-Boas coming out when he was appointed the manager, saying that he'd have to get the quadruple to make the owners happy. I mean, I think that just sums up the pressure you'd be under there.
Yeah, but it also sums up the expectations of a club like Chelsea.
True, but you do wonder where they would be without the money.
Well, exactly right. You know, the story goes, you know, remember Abramovich was flying over London in his helicopter, saw White Hart Lane, said, I'm going to buy that club. And just on his route back to the airport, happened to fly over Stamford Bridge and then changed his mind. So, you know, Tottenham fans could feel a little aggrieved there. It could have been them. So, like you say, it is all about the money.
Could have been. I think we'll end this point on talking about Terry Groves, a member of the TalkSport team. Well, TalkSport leaves a lot to be desired on the best of times, but I mean, he made the claim during the week that Chelsea need to sell 2 from the 4 of the, well, so-called untouchables, which include Terry, Lampard, Drogba and Cech, just to be successful. I mean, me personally, I think that's absolute rubbish.
Yeah, I mean, it sums up what TalkSport's all about, I guess. I think it's a bizarre claim for somebody to make. You know, there's 4 quality players there. Terry and Lampard possibly getting on a bit. Petr Cech, an absolute rock in between the sticks, you know. Who else would you want in your team? Drogba, always dangerous. You know, it's a ludicrous comment for him to make. Ludicrous.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think if one of the 4 of them who might be possibly thinking they've gone is Drogba, but I mean, he's now like 33, and he might need one more move before his career ends. And I mean, I don't think you can blame him for the fantastic service he's given to Chelsea.
Well, maybe not. I mean, if he sees it fit to move on, then that's his business. You know, I think for me, I mean, as an Englishman, I can't understand why anybody would want to play in any other football other than English football. You know, the Premier League is the biggest league in the world. It's the best league in the world. You know, for Drogba, he's in one of the best clubs in the best league in the world. Why he would want to go is beyond me. You know, say you've got Torres there and Essien and all the other strikers on Chelsea's books. But to be honest, he would start in my team any day of the week.
I probably would mine as well. Keeping on the English theme now, Ashley Young has moved from Aston Villa to Manchester United in a move that I was aware of probably months ago now. The reported fee is around about 20 million. Is that a good signing?
Well, there's no doubt in Young is a very, very good player, very nippy down the wing, can get the ball in. When you look at Manchester United, you think, who is he going to replace in that team? Where's he going to fit in? Is he just going to be another squad player, 20 million for a squad player? You wouldn't think so. So, clearly in Sir Alex Ferguson's mind, he's going to be probably part of the starting 11. So, when Sir Alex Ferguson doesn't really get it wrong that often, so you have to say, yes, it probably is a good signing.
My problem with Ashley Young, though, is that I've always put him in the bracket of the hot and cold. What I mean by that is that he'll either have a good game or he'll have a terrible game. I mean, Aston Villa fans could probably tell us that as well. But I look at Manchester United's system now, and I don't see where he'd fit in, because, Nani had an outstanding season last season. He had the top assists in the Premier League, and Park Ji-sung came on. Valencia came back from injury, and he was outstanding. So I don't know where he'd fit in.
Exactly, that's my point. At the end of the day, you look at the types of players like Valencia and Park Ji-sung. Is he better than those players? Maybe, maybe not. He's probably on a par. So you could say certainly he'd be in the squad. Would he be in the starting 11 every game? Possibly not.
Probably the main talking point from all this, though, is although Ashley Young's moved to Manchester United, Man United have got a very good player there on his day. Don't get me wrong, but Aston Villa won't get a lot of that transfer money to spend on new players, and I think that's really concerning for them.
Well, certainly, Villa have got big problems. Certainly they had a poor season last season. Darren Bent almost single-handedly kept them out of the relegation battle with his goals. So, they've got to add some strength in depth to the squad. Otherwise, they're going to struggle again this season, I think.
I just don't think they'll have the money to actually do that, to get the players that they need. But we shall see. Moving on now, and Spain added the Under-21s Championship to their World Cup and European Championship titles. They just look unstoppable at the moment.
Well, there's no doubt in that. They're the top team in the world, the top country. And it's a bad omen for all the other countries, seeing the Under-21s come through. And, is there going to be a reign of dominance from Spain? Only time will tell.
Well, it begs the question if they can be stopped at all. Currently, not like in the future. I think probably teams will catch up to them eventually, but you look at the infrastructure of the Spanish team, all of them, it's like a Barcelona system. They all play with the same ethos, the same strategy, the same movement. Everything's the same. Well,
it just shows you how good they are, how good the players are, how good the coaching is, how good the management is, how good the tactics are. So, it's sending a clear message to the world who's boss.
I know we can't help saying this obviously because we're Englishmen, but you watch Spain Under-21s win as convincingly as they did. I know Switzerland didn't exactly turn up in the final, but we look at the England team now, and you begin to wonder whether we're further behind than we thought.
Yeah, whether that's because of the advancing of the Spanish team or the decline of the English team, who knows? Who can tell? But certainly there's a huge gulf in class now between England and Spain and many of the other nations as well. And it's worrying. It's very, very worrying.
I would say it was a bit of both. I don't think we're producing enough players. I don't think we're producing enough coaches good enough to actually progress us to that next level. And that's a problem that starts from grassroots.
Well, absolutely. And we touched on that in the last podcast when we were talking about Capello. And, that is the point. You've got to start at grassroots level. You've got to bring the kids through. And it's just not happening at the moment in England.
No, we can only hope that it gets better in the future. Moving on to the last point now, and Mexico were the winners of the Gold Cup, beating USA 4-2. We were expecting a really tight game. Going to be one goal in either way, but what we ended up with was a 6-goal thriller.
It was, for Mexico to go 2-0 down and to come back 4-2, it's a fantastic result, and certainly the icing on the cake from Giovanni Dos Santos to make it 4-2 is an outstanding piece of skill and a wonderful goal to watch.
Oh, definitely worth watching YouTube. That Pablo Barrera, the West Ham lad, got 2, and Clintenti also on the goal scoring list, so the Premier League doing well there.
Very much so, and it goes to show you the quality of the Premier League. All the top players want to come and play in our league, which can only be a good thing. And also, the likes of Javier Hernandez coming through, and it just goes to show you how the other nations are developing as well. And I think we could take a leaf out of Mexico's book.
Definitely. Obviously it's going to be different styles because they're more continental than we are. But you mentioned Hernandez there. You couldn't have hoped for a better season for him. 7 million move from Guadalajara to Man United. The first Man United striker since Van Nistelrooy scored over 20 goals in a season. Well, his first season, sorry. and then the second all-time high goals tally in the Gold Cup. I mean, for such a young lad, I think it's an outstanding achievement.
It's an incredible record to move to the Premier League. Under the radar move, really, for 7 million. Nobody really knew much about him. Nobody saw it coming. And to score 20 goals in your debut season, absolutely outstanding achievement.
I know he gets criticised a little bit for being caught offside quite a lot. I mean, obviously Champions League final, I mean, he was constantly offside, but that's his movement though, because he plays between the lines of the defenders. That's his game. I think that's where he gets most of his goals.
Well, it is his game, and you've got to play to your strengths. But he's a pacey lad, and it'll come with experience. You'll have to say to him, just watch your run, and he'll get there eventually.
Oh, absolutely. He's got the pedigree. He's got the raw talent there to become a really, really good player. I mean, I think it's scary to think that Bebe cost another $500,000 more, and look where he is now on loan at Besiktas.
I know. It's just certain players fit in better than others. Bebe's a good player. And in certain teams, he'd do very well. Just in Man United, there's an awful lot of players that are better than him.
Certainly are. You can only hope for Bebe's sake that, yes, he progresses into good football and pays Ferguson's interest in him. Right, we should end the show there. My thanks as usual to Johnny. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can email us at thesundayshout, all one word, at hotmail.co.uk, or by visiting our Facebook page, The Sunday Shout. Alright, we'll see you next week. This has been a Paul Ellis production.